Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, what I want to talk about is why I don't want 1000 horsepower out of my Evo. Not so much 1000 horsepower, that's just sort of like the magic number everyone expects a fast car to have, I guess, but why I don't really want like a crazy big turbo and really high horsepower setup on my Evo. So the short answer is basically I want to keep it as a fun, reliable, fast spooling daily driver. That's the short answer, but I'll go into more about what I mean by that in this video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so like I said, I'd like to keep this as a reliable daily driver, but with that I also want it to drive, that's a fun way to drive on the streets and deal with daily. So just go over my setup. So it's basically just stock engine, full bolt-ons with a slightly upgraded turbo. This is the GT Pumps 712 turbo, if you guys didn't know, haven't watched my previous videos, which is just the Evo 10 TD05 that's been sent off and rebuilt and sort of like high flowed. So it doesn't make crazy power, but you also don't deal with any crazy amounts of turbo lag or anything. So yeah, it's a fun, responsive daily setup, and that's kind of the way I want to keep it. So with the stock turbo, I made about 257, depending on the dyno sheet, on E85 with these same mods. So yeah, turbo back exhaust, upgraded tubular manifold, E85, 1000cc injectors, and yeah, just a tune at 26 pounds of boost. Then when I changed to this turbo with the exact same mods everywhere else, same amount of boost, it made 287 kilowatts at the wheels. So it was an extra 30 to 40 kilowatt jump, and it was only about an extra 500 RPM of turbo lag compared to the stock turbo. The stock turbo came on full boost by around 3000 RPM, but was actually running out of boost and starting to drop off at about 5800 RPM, whereas this one comes on to full boost at about 3500 RPM, so an extra 500 lag, but it holds that full boost figure all the way up to the red line, which is I think set at around 7700 or so. So it's holding that boost now, so it makes it more fun all around. Just has that little bit extra lag. I feel like with the SST transmission though, being so easy to sort of up and down shift and keep it in boost between shifts, it does make it still usable. But so if I was to say go for a 600, 700 plus horsepower setup on this car, it would mean I'd have to run a really big turbo, means I'd have to have a built engine, and it would just be a little bit less reliable, a little bit less fun to just sort of start up, not something you want to just start up and run down to the shops in, something you'd enjoy on like sort of special occasions. I just don't think the Evo 10 is the car for that. It's kind of a more comfortable, bigger, heavier, daily driver type car in my mind. Yeah, I mean obviously they're very capable and they're great track cars and everything, but if I was looking to make something with that really high horsepower just to, you know, go racing in, and I'd probably go for like a GTR or something like that instead. I just don't think the Evo 10 is the type of car like that you want to be just putting so much power under and spending so much money to get that power. Like I know they make decent power for decent money, but I just don't think it is the right car for me to do that with. I'd much prefer to keep this car as just a fun daily driver that is just easy to get into boost, still pretty quick with the, you know, it's the 287 kilowatts is around 385 wheel horsepower. So it, you know, will run, once I rebuild my SST, it'll run in the high 11-second quarter mile range, the same as Letitia's car does with the same horsepower as this. And yeah, that's fast enough for me, but it's not really about trying to be fast at all times. It's just about being able to just jump on the motorway, drive the car, know you're not going to have any worries, but then you pull off the motorway and you can have a little run. You can, you know, stretch its legs a little bit, have some fun with it, and then just slot it back into the motorway, cruise home. It's reliable. It's not, I wouldn't say quiet, but you know, it's not like anything crazy with a built engine and, you know, massive turbo that I'm waiting till 5,500 RPM to get full boost, and then it's just an absolute monster from that range. So I know that is a lot of people's ideal setup, and I do get asked kind of often, like, why do I have such low horsepower, or why don't I have a bigger turbo? That's basically the reason why. I mean, if you look at forums, or even, like, say, I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you watch my videos, you watch Devon's videos. If you look at his main Evo 10, the wrapped one, the camo one, he doesn't really drive that as much anymore because he's built it into like a crazy horsepower, like really high horsepower build, and obviously that's awesome. He's got enough cars that he can then drive the other ones that aren't as built. But for me, this is my only car, and I would like to keep it more at the fun, reliable daily driver sort of range. Okay, so I talked about the turbo that I have, the horsepower I make, and why I don't want the crazy amounts of horsepower. And the question is, will I go a bigger turbo at all in the future? And the answer is probably yes. This turbo is a lot of fun, but I think I could go something just slightly bigger without going into that threshold of needing to build the engine, have some sort of crazy setup that isn't as reliable and fun for a daily. I feel like there is a middle ground. Now, the turbo I'm on is pretty close to that, but I think I could go something just a little bit bigger, make a bit more horsepower, but still not lose too much of the full boost sort of range when I'm trying to just get onto the car from low RPM. Think if I was to get something that's still full boost by say 4,000 RPM or around that range, I'd still be pretty happy. I think that's still dailyable, and yeah, to make like an extra, I don't know, 75 to 100 horsepower would still be a lot of fun, and yeah, would make the car a lot faster. But for now, I am happy with what it does make power wise. It's just a lot of fun, and like I said, yeah, Letitia's car with around a different turbo but similar, and around about the same horsepower as me. She makes a few extra kilowatts than me, or 5 horsepower more. Her car with the previous owner ran an 11.81 second quarter mile, and that's like a very heavy car compared to mine. It's an MR first of all, so mine's the GSR, so it's a little bit lighter. Both have the SST transmission, but hers has just got like the subs in the back and some amps under the seats, and then it's got the heated leather seats, and yeah, obviously don't have the rear wing. I have the carbon boot, so I have a little bit more weight reduction mods compared to hers. So I feel like once I rebuild my SST, I'll be able to go out and get a similar time. Actually, to be honest, the goal with this car was to actually beat the previous owner's time, or equal, of Letitia's car. So it's kind of funny we ended up buying that car, because when I saw the previous owner, who we were friends with, ran that 11.81 second quarter mile, I was pretty impressed by that, and sort of said one day I'd love to get my car built up enough with a slightly bigger turbo and at least equal or beat that time. So now that it's funny that we actually own both the cars, so my plan is to beat that time with both cars now. So we will be turning the boost up a little bit on Letitia's car, trying to beat that time, and then obviously mine definitely will be doing that. But then once I do that, yeah, I will in the future probably get something slightly bigger, and the engine is getting a bit older, so maybe potentially rebuild the engine. Don't think I'll go anything crazy, but yeah, I do want to keep this car as is, basically looks wise and performance wise, and not go too far from that, because in the future I'd like to say get something else that is more capable of making bigger horsepower numbers, like something like a 35 GTR. I'd love to buy one of those in the future, and then maybe turn that into like a 700 plus horsepower car, and keep this as the fun daily driver with the 400, 450 range. So basically that is what I wanted to talk about today. It's something I get asked a bit, and I just thought, I'll just make a video out of it and sort of cover all that. And yeah, I mean, I did just put a post up on my YouTube channel talking about the fact that I may probably not be able to keep up to my upload schedule soon, because Letitia and myself are in the process of moving into our new home. And yes, sort of a lot of my free time, which I could normally film videos, is now spent packing and organising our move and everything. So yeah, thought this would be a quick video that I could make and can cover me while we're in the moving process, just so I don't miss an upload. But also something that I have been asked a bit, and yeah, it's something that I think is not really talked about often. Everyone just sort of sees the high horsepower numbers and that's what they want, but I don't think they've really thought about how usable they are and whether they would like to live with that as a daily driver. So yeah, that's today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, let me know what you think. Am I an idiot? Should I just be trying to make the 1000 horsepower? Or is this a good enough daily driver as is? So yeah, that's going to be it. hopefully you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I'll catch you later.